Okay, so should we start this chronologically, I guess? First, we have Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Now, The Phantom Menace, for me, I hold so high. It was the first Star Wars that I ever watched. Does have the worst character in Star Wars history. Misa Jar Jar Binks! There's so much to consider, though, because they do give us Darth Maul for the first time. But I think Anakin flying the Y-Wing is a little unforgivable. Phantom Menace is a solid B tier. No, Phantom Menace is going to go A tier. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. Phantom Menace has to go A tier. Next in the timeline, we have Attack of the Clones. Oh, I love this movie so much. That elevator scene, you know Hayden Christensen's bricked the whole time. He's just rocking a solid meat stick. And we also get that sick pad fight with Obi-Wan and Jango Fett. And then he goes to Geonosis, where we have like all the Jedi versus all the droids in that big Coliseum. It was also when they canonized purple lightsabers because Samuel L. Jackson just wanted to be able to pick himself out from the massive Coliseum fight. So we get purple lightsabers. Attack of the Clones also has to go A tier. Next, we have Revenge of the Sith. Good movie. That bedroom scene is still to this day holds up as some of the best CGI I've ever seen for like an early 2000s movie. Not even for an early 2000s movie. It could hold up today for the CGI. We also have more Grievous. We have the showdown with Obi-Wan and Grievous, which is fire. Anakin's just a really jacked emo boy with a pregnant wife and just wants to keep her safe. Palpatine's pulling strings like a master puppeteer in his little hood.
Yes.
Obi-Wan's hot. Revenge of the Sith had one of the longest lightsaber fights or sword fights in general among any movie for a really long time. That first like fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan when he leaves him just as like a crispy banana and then Palpatine comes by to see his boy toy has been literally cooked. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. S tier. Next in the timeline of movies, we have A New Hope. This was the first Star Wars that ever came out. It was great. Opens, we have a whole ship chase. We get to meet C-3PO and R2-D2 for the very first time in like the 60s, I think it was. And then they escape down to Tatooine. They meet some just lonely farm kid on a desert planet in Luke. Some shit happens. He meets an old wise hermit who's afraid of talking to people, but it was done by Alec Guinness, the GOAT.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
And then they go and commission one of the handsomest men ever, Harrison Ford, and his dog. Along the way, they run into the Death Star. They get thrown in the trash. Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight each other again, but they escape. They go to, I think it's Yavin 4, and apparently Luke just knows how to fly an X-Wing like a master pilot. The Force. Perfect movie. Awesome. Amazing. A New Hope. S tier Star Wars. Next, we have Empire Strikes Back. We have like all of our main characters, Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Luke, kind of settling in with the rebellion. I know Han Solo's like, I'm not part of the rebellion, but he is. Luke gets lost in a cave with a lightsaber, frees himself, and then Han Solo goes out and cuts open a space llama. Then they get back to base. He gets all healed up from the Bacta. Then the Empire comes in with the big walkers. They have to go out in their little speeders. They kill a couple walkers. Luke eventually escapes, so does Han Solo and Princess Leia. They go their separate ways. Luke goes to Dagobah on Obi-Wan's orders, basically. And on Dagobah, he meets our wonderful green Master Yoda, who just seems like a fucking crackhead the whole time. Beating R2-D2 with his stick, even though they for sure know each other. Imagine like training in just a wet rainforest. But yeah, Luke rides him around like a little backpack and tells him random shit about the Jedi and how he should train, and then he has to go in this dark cave and meet his greatest fear. Meanwhile, we have Han Solo, Chewbacca, Princess Leia running away from the Empire. They're getting chased, and they get into this big space worm. They realize it's a space worm that has bats in its stomach. That was kind of weird, but it was really sick. So they escape the space worm, and they're like, we need some help. So they go to the Cloud City. And on the Cloud City, they're supposed to meet Han Solo's good buddy. He's supposed to help him free, but they don't know that Han Solo's good buddy betrayed him. It's a trap! Anyways. So they get capped. Luke knows his friends are in trouble, so he goes to the Cloud City and has a showdown with Vader. Everybody escapes. Everybody's happy. Luke loses a hand and kisses his sister. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. I know a lot of people wanted an S tier, but for me, it's A tier. All right, moving along the timeline, we have Return of the Jedi. This one's fire. We get the Jabba's Palace. Han Solo's frozen in ice now from the end of the last one. Princess Leia goes in. She kind of gets captured, gets put in the hottest outfit. Yeah, then Luke has to come in and save everybody from Jabba's palace. They leave him in the Sarlacc, where Boba Fett gets left in the Sarlacc, and then they have to blow up the Death Star again. Kind of that. Luke goes on the Death Star and fights Vader and Palpatine and just has his own final showdown. A lot happens, but not a lot happens in this one. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens, but it's a little bit slower paced for me. I really liked it. I think the ending scene when we have all the Force Ghosts, and then we had the original Force Ghosts of like Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin. And I can't remember who played the original Anakin Force Ghost, but not too long ago, they switched switched it to be Hayden Christensen, which I thought was really funny on Disney Plus. Leia doesn't kiss her brother. Luke doesn't kiss his sister. So, A tier. It's A tier. Now we're in the newest trilogy, The Force Awakens. That first scene when they're at the camp and Kylo Ren comes down is a wet dream. So good. Poe is all there and he tries to shoot him. He freezes the laser. Fire. We have Rey just scavenging around getting her 3/4 portions. They all fly off the planet in the Millennium Falcon that was just left there, I guess. Han Solo and Chewie come back. Epic. Whole theater erupted, seeing Harrison Ford play Han Solo again and Chewbacca. And then we go to Maz's cantina. Kylo Ren steals Rey and puts her in a chair. And there's a lot of sexual tension. You know I can take whatever I want. Like a lot of sexual tension. And then we just kind of get them sneaking onto Starkiller Base, a bigger Death Star. Then they have a showdown with Kylo Ren, where two untrained people with a lightsaber beat him. I like this one. I think it was one of the better ones of the new trilogy. B tier. Now we have The Last Jedi. This one was fucking weird. It's because, so in the last trilogy, they changed directors. They had one director for the first one, a different director for the second one, and then the director from the first one for the third one. That's a lot of numbers. So this one, they kind of just track the the Resistance. They go to a casino, then they go to a salt planet. Luke's kind of a dick, but then realizes he doesn't want to be a dick, floats around on the island and trains Rey, but really he's just sucking weird alien nipples. Then Rey uses the lightsaber, cuts a rock. They kind of all meet back together on the salt planet. Also, no, you know what we got? So John Boyega, Finn in this one had this really cool like love story arc with one of the engineers. I can't remember her name. And then Finn is driving towards this big like Starkiller laser cannon. Leaves the First Order, joins the Resistance, comes around, and then sacrifices himself for the Resistance against the First Order, taking out their big Starkiller cannon thing that they were going to use to blow into their bunker. That is a great full-rounded story. That would have been awesome. But apparently his speeder only goes 25% of the other speeder, and his love interest sacrifices her speeder, and it's like, it's fine. It makes sense why she would do that, but just doesn't make a lot of sense. Snoke dies. Probably one of the worst choreographed fight scenes where weapons just disappear out of enemies' hands on Snoke's ship. Some crazy dick lady just light speeds through an entire fleet and ends them. Sure. Continuity errors in this one, and a lot of stuff that feels really rushed that they shouldn't have rushed. The Last Jedi, C tier. Now we're on the last one, Rise of Skywalker. And you can't really blame the director for the Rise of Skywalker, but because Disney wanted to make cuts, they cut like an hour of footage that would have helped it make sense. So they get information from a secret agent or something. They realize that Palpatine's back because fucking they don't have Snoke anymore. So they go down to some desert planet. They meet Lando Calrissian, who's just there. The set design, Disney has the best set designs. Their set design is fucking immaculate. So they go down to this desert planet. They meet Lando. Troopers come down, so they try to flee on a speeder. They're fleeing on the speeder, and just apparently they're fleeing from the First Order on a speeder. The First Order's following them. If you've been around Star Wars, you know that clones, maybe not stormtroopers, but clones for sure have had jetpacks, which is before the Empire. So the one line that pissed me off so much, it made all the blood run to my fingers, made me tingly, made me mad. They can fly now? They've flown since Attack of the Clones, since before you were fucking born. Ushered away after they find this Sith knife. Really cool idea, the Sith knife. They're getting ushered away. Rey reaches up, trying to save Chewbacca. Ejaculates lightning out of her fingers, which does make sense. Bear with me. Some other shit happens. She thinks she killed Chewbacca. She finds out she didn't kill Chewbacca. They go meet Poe's like ex-girlfriend on some snowy planet. Super sick. We see Kylo Ren's got his mask back. He's kind of got his Knights of Ren with him, which are the coolest character design I've ever seen is the Knights of Ren. Totally misused. Not fucking mentioned at all. Just some badass dudes with axes. Anyways, we go to this nice snowy planet where we meet Poe's like ex-girlfriend, Smash. She helps out. We meet Babu Frick, who does some shit with C-3PO. They get some coordinates. They find some holocrons. And then Rey and Kylo Ren have a battle in his ship after he's been talking to Darth Vader's sexy mask. That's kind of like all half melted. Pretty badass. Then some more shit happens. So then they go to this other planet where Finn meets someone that he likes. Yeah. And it's the remnants of the Death Star. Rey is there. Kylo Ren is there. She sees herself as a Sith with like this extendo double-bladed lightsaber that was ultimate badass. Fucking that thing was super cool. Nothing really happens. Her and Kylo Ren have another showdown. All the waves are crashing. He's wet and sexy. There was a bunch of memes about it, how Grievous would run after the lightsaber he throws in the ocean. Palp's new temple, where he's got a whole fleet that he just somehow built by himself that's bigger than anything the First Order's ever seen. Makes a lot of sense. They're also fully staffed on this secret Sith planet. Yeah, no, totally. Let's have the biggest armada in the entire galaxy on one weird Force-accessible planet that's fully staffed by regular people. And Palpatine's old testicle ass. Ugh. We get there, they kind of go through the temple, they realize it's Palpatine. Kylo Ren's good now, so he's there too. Unlimited power! And they have this whole showdown. The Resistance is there. They're losing because they're facing the literal biggest fleet we've ever seen in Star Wars. Rey's there. She does this whole X thing. And then we hear the coolest part of this fucking movie. We hear all of the old Jedi voices like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda all say like, I think Mace Windu was in there too. All say like, we are with you. Ba-ba-da-ba. So she sends a lightning back at Palps, fries his ass like he deserves to be. Again with this like incesty kiss and shit. So Rey's related to Palpatine. Palpatine force-birthed Anakin. Apparently. Anakin is the grandfather of Kylo Ren. By some weird extension, like auntie and uncle, but they just make out at the end of the movie. Kylo Ren dies. Rey goes to Tatooine with the first live-action orange saber we've ever seen, which actually I thought was really cool. I thought the orange saber design was pretty sick. And then she drops the worst fucking line. Some random hobo lady walks by and goes, "Who are you?" And she looks her dead in the face, down the barrels of her soul, right into her guts, and says, "I'm Rey Skywalker." The Rise of Skywalker is equivalent to Finn's character arc. Anyways, that's where I would place all the movies on the tier list for Star Wars. They started doing construction outside my house, so you can probably hear that. But anyways, that's where I would place all of the movies from 1 to 9 on the tier list. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to do this for a living. It'd be a lot of fun. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.